Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is the right side of campus. We are live on a Tuesday, May 8th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus, Joe, my co-host, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, how you doing today?
Doing good. Hey, Philadelphia 76ers, the city of Philadelphia. Jeff lives one more day. Blowout winner over the San Francisco Giants across the street from the Wells Fargo. Double-digit winner for the Sixers. It's a shame, Jeff, they didn't close out games 2 or 3. Well, we might have had a little bit more hope, but Jeff, another day of basketball is another good day here in the city.
We are sponsored by the great folks at Intertops. Make sure you check them out every day. Make sure if you're looking for a book, you give them a shot. Intertops, beautiful interface, very easy to use, good payouts, good bonuses, very good lines, always up to the minute lines. Make sure you're checking out Intertops if you're in the market for a new book. Donnie, we welcome everyone in. Hopefully, you had a nice night, a nice evening, and you enjoyed the show today. Make sure you hit the like button and let us know you're out there. Also, if you're on Twitter, share the show. It's a great way to grow it and to get it to people that might not see it on a regular basis. Let's jump into the show, Donnie. We'll start with some morning headlines. The Caps celebrate. They finally beat the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's been 20 years since they've been to the Eastern Conference. Is that correct? 20 years um,
For
since
the
they
for
got
the
to the
entire
conference
city.
final?
Yeah. Yep, the
Wow.
entire
Um,
city. Yeah. Yep.
Amazing. Washington, a city of losers, generally get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They'll face the who will they face?
Lightning.
I'm drawing a. Oh, right, Tampa Bay. They'll face Tampa Bay. Sorry, guys, I'm not a hockey. I forget sometimes. But Ovechkin seemed to be happy last night, Donnie. They finally get to the finals. They get the monkey off their back. That was the Pittsburgh Penguins. Washington celebrating today.
Yeah, no, good times. Good times. It's just good times seeing the Pittsburgh Penguins get knocked out. It was fantastic time seeing the Boston Bruins get knocked out. Just a great overall, couple day run there, seeing some clown franchises that we like to call here in the Philadelphia area between the Bruins and the Penguins going out. They can golf with Claude Giroux. Same tee time, Jeff. They can meet up at the golf course now.
Yes, good point, good point, good point. It's always good, I guess, as you're a Flyer fan to see the Penguins bow out.
Yeah,
Stan Van
get out of here.
Gundy has been fired by the Detroit Pistons. Van Gundy, really one of those old guard kind of guys. You kind of that group, with the Steve Cliffords and all those different guys. You kind of been around. You look at Van Gundy at Detroit, 4 years. Made the playoffs one time. I believe they were swept in that series. Just never really got going with them. Um, Donnie, you're a Stan Van Gundy fan, I heard, right?
No, I mean, he's one of the worst. I mean, Stan Van Gundy by far one of the worst guys out there. And the best part about it, Jeff, is these old school guys, like somehow they still swindle their way in to be president, GM, and head coach. And when you get that much power, Jeff, you're only looking out for yourself at this point. The point of trading for Blake Griffin was what last year? You're a stale, stank franchise, and you're going to bury yourself even further under the ground by bringing in a perennial loser like Blake Griffin. Congratulations, Detroit. You played yourself.
I like Blake Griffin. I don't hate that.
Oh, he'd be
I just
awesome on a
think,
on a Barnstorm. If the game was about dunking and getting points for that, he'd probably be one of the best of all time. I do agree.
yeah, listen, Donnie, your first inklings on people aren't always. I mean, Donnie, you
They're
got to
always
admit,
right. When name me one was wrong. When was one of my
Blake
inklings
Griffin's had
wrong? Westbrook's a
Blake
loser.
Griffin had a
Westbrook's a
great
loser.
season
Blake
last
Griffin's a loser. So great they didn't make the playoffs. How do you not make the playoffs in the East? Get out of town with that. Blake Griffin,
year. He
loser, man. They couldn't get him out of LA fast enough.
he didn't get. I mean, it was the middle of the season, dude. I mean, he,
So
he
what? They
averages
were a
22
500
points
team.
a
They actually
series.
got worse. I
Oh,
believe their record after acquiring Blake Griffin was worse than when didn't have him.
he does 22 points a game for his career. He's a
That
loser.
doesn't mean
Come on.
anything. Westbrook has triple double every night. They don't win anything. He's not a winner. He's not a winner. Terrible move. What do they have? Like 4 years and 150 million left on that contract. Detroit is done. 4 years buried. Dan Van
Okay,
Gundy.
I disagree. They'll make the playoffs next year. They'll be fine. Uh, let's move on. Hawaii. This is an interesting story. A volcano is basically erupting, and it's destroyed 35 different structures. People are wondering what's going to happen to their homes. This is a pretty unbelievable story, really. One of the big islands. I forget. I had this article up. Now I don't have it up. Um, this is a freaky thing, Donnie. I mean, you can't really stop the lava. 1,700
No.
residents, ordered to evacuate. I saw the lava just getting bigger and bigger next to a car. It just seemed to come out bigger and bigger. There was an earthquake, I guess, and that kind of, I guess, pushed it. You know, started making it erupt. This is pretty freaky here, Donnie. You don't see this very often. Volcanoes usually stay abreast, but what do you do here? I mean, you gotta leave, I guess, and you gotta. It's like a
Yeah, and some
forest
and
fire.
there's a picture out there yesterday where somebody had left their car directly in front of the lava flow. I'm hoping, like maybe the federal government or maybe the attorney general out there in Hawaii was watching that video and will prosecute that guy who was obviously trying to get out of a bad car loan by having the lava run over his car. Pretty mysterious, Jeff, that the guy lined up his car right in front of the lava when nobody else was on like a mile long road street, right, or mile long street right there. Please investigate that guy for trying to get rid of his car.
Yeah, this is obviously, you see these kind of natural disasters, and you really kind of you feel bad. I mean, it's so bad. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. It's like a fire. I mean, or there's a forest fire. And you can't really stop it. I mean, you just got to try to, get it
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
What do you do
like
here? I
Jeff,
mean,
it barrels in. You don't do it. You barrels over everything and causes a fire at the same time. Jesus Christ!
yeah, there's nothing you can do here. It's tough. I mean, sad story here. Um, Donnie, last but not least, Alabama, OCDC. You added this one. What do you got here?
Yeah, now here we go. I mean, it's an arms race in the SEC. It just seems like Jeff, the SEC has unlimited funds as long as your football team wins. Now we're looking at Alabama. There's a lot of schools out there, Jeff, that can't even pay their head coach $700,000 or $800,000, let alone assistants. But now both assistants at Alabama, Jeff, clocking 1.2 and 1.1 million apiece, offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. If you win at Alabama, you will get donors. They will pay whatever it takes to continue the winning, along with Nick Saban out there. Just an arms race in the SEC, Jeff, where, as they like to say, it does mean more.
Yeah, well, listen, hey, you pay to win. You pay to win money, Donnie. I mean, but you look at Texas. I mean, I think both their OC and DC make more than a million as well.
Who's guys?
Texas.
Do they? Do they both make a million apiece, the
I
coordinators?
believe Todd Orlando makes
Yeah.
$1 million,
Yeah.
and obviously Herman does it. Does as well. I'm pretty sure they do.
Well, no,
But
Herman's a
again,
head coach, so I'm talking about offensive and
no, I
defensive
know.
coordinator.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I get it. Listen, the headlines today not particularly good by me. There weren't a ton of interesting stories out there. I mean, obviously lava's interesting, but um, you know, headlines sometimes are weak, Donnie. I had trouble coming up with three good ones last night. By the way, there was another story. I didn't bring this up, but it was kind of added. Maybe I should have. Did you hear about that couple from Syracuse? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where the kid faked the kid had cancer, got a couple G's, wanted to meet the football team, and found out it was all a big fake.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Sounds like a stunt that someone will pull on Twitter. That's a normal stunt that I've seen
Yes,
a
it
couple
sounds like a
different.
block pool right around the Super Bowl or an NCAA tournament where the guy disappears right as the end of the tournament happens, right?
Yes, yes. Or I remember many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, probably at this point, there was a guy that he claimed that it wasn't his son, it was a friend of his son had cancer,
Mm.
and this guy like put together this big story about all this stuff, and he got a good amount of money, probably towards like $5,000 $7,000, and just disappeared. And someone did like an investigation into it. I want to say it was someone on Twitter that I know now. They're still on Twitter. He did like a big, him and his wife did like a big investigation into it. Yeah, and that guy
Mm.
obviously is as well. Um, can't top the Big Mac story of the week.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're wanting to throw up, probably was the story of the week. Whose mom is worse, Wendell Carter or Eli Apple? Um, Not sure Wendell Carter what his mom did, but
Yeah,
Eli
his
Apple's
mom's a
mom.
clown.
Okay. Okay, Duke basketball. Yeah, I didn't see this story. She likened NCAA
Yeah.
rules to slavery. A bit of a
Yeah,
stretch
yeah.
there.
Son goes to Duke, and it was a one and done or whatever, and they used him like a slave at Duke. So that was great point by her.
Well, I think she's making the point that they should be paid, obviously, but a little bit of a stretch there as far as the comparison. Um, let's move on here. Um, I mean, do we want to go down that road, Donnie? Really? Uh, People already hate me. Do I really want to go down that route? Let's move on. We'll go to the NBA. Sorry. TJ, how about this, Donnie? TJ McConnell for
Yeah.
MVP. Brett Brown finally makes a move that works out. And he's he was fantastic last night. He was one of the big differences for the team last night. 19 points, gave them a ton of energy. It was just kind of a bother for a lot of people. For the Celtics, just kind of a pest. That's what he does. Pressing, every play. He's just, he's an energizer bunny. Very good move. We didn't see a ton of Covington, and when we did, he was very ineffective. Donnie, Robert Covington should be arrested for gra- grand larceny. He's been so ineffective. I mean, this guy literally 60 million for for that.
Yeah.
He should go to prison for that. That's grand larceny at the highest form. But it was nice to see Brown finally make a move, and it benefited them a little bit.
No, I think like it's funny. Like the game started at 6. People are like, I'll tune it on to see if the Sixers are going to do well. Well, I mean, it was picked up a nice winner. We'll get in that just a little bit later. But I think the whole city, Jeff, got one of those little uplifting vibes where the tweets came out early. Covington will not start tonight. And it was like, Jeff, that big storm cloud that separates. And you get the aura of the sun poking through that says, oh my God, we finally saw the light. This bum cannot be on the floor and help us out. And Jeff, you know what the best part about it is? Sixers start out well. They bring Covington in, and he goes clown mode for about 30 to 35 seconds to a minute and a half. And it's like, what is this guy doing in here? One of the tweets of the night came from a beat writer in the arena, Jeff. The first three that Covington hoisted, the groan from the crowd before it even left his hands. That is absolutely hilarious, man.
Yeah, Covington. It seemed like every time he touched the ball, he was booed. I mean, he needs to. I mean, he needs to. I don't even know why he gets as many minutes as he got last night. He's really hard to watch, man. It's really just a mess at this point. He doesn't do anything right. He can't shoot. He doesn't, drive the ball. He doesn't open people up for our shots. Defensively, he's not been good. He's just done nothing to really write home about. Nothing to warrant the contract that he has. And the Sixers live one more day. And Donnie, you have to be impressed with the performance. They didn't lay down, obviously at home. It's kind of a shame to think what could have been if they could have closed games out and played with a little fervor in the second half. They would have, they might be up 3-1 in this series. They might be up, or the series is tied 2-2. You got to look back at the mistakes that Brett Brown made and this team made it and really kind of be irritated about it because I think other than game one, um, I don't I don't think the Celtics have played that well. I don't. The Sixers have just really shot themselves in the foot. I mean, you look at even last night. I mean, the Sixers didn't shoot the ball well. I mean, they only shot 40%. They out rebounded the Celtics. They made their foul shots for the most part. I think they shot 80%. Sarge was very good last night. Finally, I called him out, and then he played well. Donnie, see the power of my page is that I'm big. I call people out, and they do well. Just very amazing. Covington seemingly hasn't been able to get it fixed, but a nice win. I'm not saying that nothing's going to happen because of it, but they get a win. They don't get swept.
Yeah, show a little bit of heart there, and it was funny because the game that sometimes you have to take even the statistics out. I mean, throw out Covington's 1 point in 25 minutes. I mean, the night before, what do you have, like 20 points? But it was one of the gamiest 20 points you're ever going to see out there. And every time there was a big play, like if you're supposed to be a defender, Jeff, like you watch Boston play with their athletes on the wing, right? You line them up and say, look, you're not beating me to the basket. I'm going to challenge the shot no matter what you do. If you're an elite defender, which second team all NBA, I mean, there has to be an investigation into that, how Robert Covington got that. Maybe like D'ing up like Charlotte and Orlando and the Atlanta Hawks. I guess that's how you get to be a good defender. But when you can just put somebody in front of him and you can just beat him to the basket at will, I don't understand. Like he got a lot of money, and I guess he put up a lot of trash stats when the Sixers were bad, and he's throwing up threes. And I guess he's an elite defender when nobody's really trying to score at that point because the Sixers were such a bad team. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. He's a bad basketball player. Maybe come off the bench. Hopefully, he can get it right at one point.
No, I'm being serious. Look his stats up. What makes him an elite defender? Seriously.
I don't
Because
know.
as
That's
far
what I
as
don't
like
know.
as far as defensively on the team, he's like the fifth best defender. Seriously, the Embiid's a better defender than he is. Ilyasova has better numbers defensively than he does. Um, you look at Redick even has better offensive numbers, defensive numbers than he does. I mean, seriously, look him up. He's not even in the top 50 defensively, as far as from what I've seen here. So I
No,
don't want
no,
to.
it's just and Jeff, yeah, but Jeff, here's he's so good in the passing lanes, Jeff. He deflects balls all over the place and is great at stripping it when you go to the rack. And I just get a chuckle out of that because it doesn't take very hard, it doesn't take very long to watch a basketball game and be like, that guy can't play.
Do yourself a favor and go to stats, go to the advanced metrics, look up top 50 defenders. You will not find Covington in there. And I'm going to tell you right now, Donnie, if you ask me, other than Embiid, who the best defender on this team is, I would say it's Ilyasova. He's the best defender to me on the team. Do I think long term he can defend? No. He's not going to play all game, but he's a way better defender than Covington. The numbers are there, dude. I mean, and as far as coaching, Reggie, yeah, I don't think coaching's that big a deal in the NBA. I don't. I think you put anyone out there, and the player, LeBron would play the game and do it the right way. I don't think it, Dottie. I mean, seriously, look at this series. Do you really believe that if Brad Stevens wasn't the coach of the Celtics, they wouldn't be up 3-1? Seriously,
No, I don't think. No, he's made. I mean,
what did
come, I
he
mean, you're
really
looking
do
at
to
being
win?
down a couple players. Yeah, he's a really good basketball coach. Made a difference in a couple of those. But then again, I think it's more on the Sixers than Brad Stevens itself, just closing out games.
Right, right. Exactly. Covington should definitely not be shooting threes. If I know, guy shoots 1 for 9 every game, and he's the most overrated defender I've ever heard. He's not even that good. Like I guess for his level, because he came from the D League, he's pretty good, but he's not statistically good defensively. I don't know where it comes from.
No,
Rozier coming for the Giant. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Terry Rozier, by the way, who was a nobody coming into the season. Let's remember that. Terry Rozier was an absolute nobody. He was a bench warmer. Played 19 minutes a game. Now we got to bow down to him because he's had a couple good games in the playoffs. Who the hell does he think he is? Seriously. I mean, seriously, why would you even do that? I mean, it's stupid. I get you want to back yourself up or whatever, but he started it. He started like the whole thing. Grabbing the ball when it's not his ball. Who do you think you are, dude? Seriously. I mean, who's this
it's
guy
pretty
think he
funny in
is?
that but like the double technical was funny. I mean, either you don't call any technical
Yeah,
or one way or the
exactly.
other. You put the aggressor on there. I don't know. The double technical is kind of funny to me at that point.
Listen, Joel Embiid is going to get under your skin. It's what he does. He doesn't like other teams, and I think if you're in the NBA and you like the NBA, you should like Embiid because he's trying to keep that old NBA alive a little bit. I don't like that other team. I'm not going to be cool with them. I mean, do you ever see Joel Embiid, you know, like anyone? Doesn't seem like he likes anyone. I don't like anyone else but my team. That's how it should be in the NBA. This whole like buddy buddy thing, it's fun when you see scuffles, mix ups. It shows that the passion's still there. But come on, dude. I mean, first of all, I mean, yeah, he'd absolutely crush you. Second of all, settle the fuck down. You've had a couple good games. Keep it going for a year. It's like these cappers that have like 2 week runs and they're the next big thing. Settle down, bro. I mean, have a week, have a whole year and do that. Then we'll say, you know what? Congrats. Terry Rozier's a 7 point a game scorer in the league. He's acting like he's earned that for smacking your six. Yeah, I know. 3 good games, dude. Get it. Come on, man. Get real. So like Blake Griffin, I'm gonna go on my milk carton. Get the fuck out of here, Rozier. Let's move on. Any comment on that?
No, no, no,
So you don't want to comment on Rozier, but you comment on
no.
Blake
I mean,
Griffin.
just yeah. I mean, well, Rozier and Blake Griffin, two different things. I'd rather have Rozier on my team than Blake Griffin.
Shut up, dude. I mean, seriously.
One guy's
Ra-
going to show up. One guy's going to show up big sometime in his life. Rozier has done that. I can't. I could probably count on my hands. I mean, I could count on my hands how many good dunks Blake Griffin had, but not big time playoff wins.
I like Blake Griffin. I think he's a good player. And again, you haven't you failed to dance around. You've danced around it, but you haven't addressed it. the guy averages 22 points a game in his
It
career.
doesn't matter how many
How
points
are
you
you dancing around that?
average. If you gotta be a
He's not
team
an
player out there. Blake Griffin's unbelievable at dunking. He's great at punching like assistant coaches and trainers on the bench and getting
I
himself
don't
put
think
out for
he's
like
no
6 to 8 weeks. There's a reason why he got traded out of LA for a bucket of balls.
I don't think he's a number I don't think anyone's ever claimed he's number 1 though, Donnie.
No, I mean, he's a good basketball player in the NBA. Would I pay him to be on my team at max contracts? He's a loser. Absolutely not.
Oh, Gwan White wants to pull that one. Brad Stevens got Isaiah Thomas an MVP vote. What's he doing now? Oh yeah, it was totally Brad Stevens. I'm sure without him, Isaiah Thomas wouldn't have gotten that. Right, right. Come on, man. I mean, coaches are not Donnie, you have to agree. Coach in the NBA, coaches are pretty useless. I mean, they're not
I mean, I
like
wouldn't say they're useless. I mean, Brad Stevens is a good coach. Like you can have
he
a
is. I'm
coaching
not saying he's
mismanagement,
not,
but
but
if you I like the plays that he runs at the end of the game. But let's take a look and say like who threw the pass in the Boston game that goes down there from the out of bounds into Al Horford. He lays it up. If that was Ben Simmons throwing it in, it's a turnover, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, Brad Stevens, what a stupid play you called! It was a turnover." I mean, players got to execute what the guy calls. Still,
Walter Trotter, Blake Griffin is trash compared to Rozier already. Come on, dude. I mean, are you guys serious? I
he's
mean,
old.
think
He
of what's
makes
coming out of your
he
mouth.
makes
Like,
$200 million, and he goes to a
what does that
trash
do?
can franchise in a trash can Eastern Conference and made the team worse. That's hard to do.
I don't think he made them worse. I don't. He didn't
I,
make them
I
worse.
actually, if I looked it up, I think there's a stat out there that since they acquired him, their record was worse than when they didn't have him, which is hilarious.
I don't believe. I'll have to look that up. But listen, Water Trotter, settle down, dude. I mean, it's a little early to be smoking, isn't it? I mean, I get you don't like Blake Griffin, but he's better than he's trash compared to Rozier. Come on, dude. A lot of people. Come on, man. Uh,
Well, it's
give
not.
us
I
some
mean,
fat. How's he?
Blake Griffin's not. It's fun to say he's trash. I mean, he's not a trash player, but when you weigh the advantages and disadvantages of giving him a super max, it almost makes me chuckle. Like, what has he done in his career through Los Angeles when he was playing with superstars and then gets traded to a team that needs his help and he's supposed to carry the weight out there and he makes that much money? It's hilarious. It's just funny to me.
He says the playoffs are the stage. So okay, so and I'm not addressing this comment to Donnie. I'm addressing it to Walter Trotter, who has thinks that Blake Griffin's trash. So do you think Russell Westbrook's trash as a player because he doesn't win in the playoffs? Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me that you're only good if you win in the playoffs. That's what I'm asking you. I mean, listen, I this kid Rozier played a good series. He averages 7 points a game coming into the season. Okay, and I'm not saying that that doesn't mean he can't be a good player. I'm just saying I mean, come on, man. I mean, the guy average that exactly, Kingsley. The guy averages Blake Griffin 20 and 10 a game, bro. As a player, I'm not talking about. I'm saying as a pure player to say he's trash compared to Rozier. Come on, man. That's a bit of a stretch. Let's move on here. The Raptors. What a
Yeah.
classless, gutless team this is. I mean, you lose by 30 points in a game four, where your season was really, was on the line. I mean, it was totally on the line. You had a win or you're out. And as far as look, LeBron James did his thing, but I mean, this wasn't just LeBron James. I mean, this was just complete and utter disregard for defense. During the series, Donnie, Raptors have given up 118 points a game. That is absolutely heinous. I mean, what a disgusting disgrace his Raptor team was. Kyle Lowry, MIA. DeRozan, MIA, you know, Anunoby continued to get starts even after he was shredded many times by LeBron James. Still getting starts, still getting starts. A mess, the Raptors are. Where do you go from here?
No, and we can roll it right in. That was a pathetic performance last night, and a lot of teams already throw up the white flag. At least you saw with the Sixers they were coming home, so you want to play for your home crowd. Being on the road down 0-3, you're just like, you know what? Let's just get this over with. I'm going to go to San Tropez in about 4 to 5 days with the crew, and we're just going to relax and blow this off. But when you look at a future of the Raptors, what is it now? Because you see the tweets coming out there, heavy payroll, can't really improve yourself. Celtics are on the come, Sixers are on the come. Who knows what LeBron's going to do to strengthen up any one of these teams in the Eastern Conference, or if his owner agrees to pay $300 million to stay in Cleveland. There's no, rainbow, goal pot at the end of the rainbow at this point when you're looking at Toronto, Jeff, because where's the future at? Is your future just to be, hey, we'll hang around. We'll have some fun. We'll be like a 3, 4, 5 seed the next couple of years, have a big payroll. But now is your time. It's almost deflating, Jeff, because if you saw the Raptors come out of the East, like we keep saying, if they won the Eastern Conference this year, at least you can hang that on your man. Like, hey, we're not going to beat Golden State or Houston out here. But you know what? We did the deed. We beat LeBron and the Cavs. We got to the finals. Let's see if we might be able to add on in the near future, maybe end it here. But you're just getting dropped in the playoffs every single year, and nothing is changing up there. It's a bad look for Toronto over the next couple of years.
I mean, you got to ask yourself, what do they do now? And I think it's. I mean, I don't know if it's really at the point where you get rid of everyone. I mean, I still think it. Are you one player away? I don't know. I mean, could Kawhi Leonard fix your problems? I don't know. I mean, you got to get rid of Ibaka. I mean, the guy makes $22 million. I don't know if he's the answer long term. Kyle Lowry, you got to pay him for another year after this year. I mean, Don, the guy's gonna make $33 million next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Like you're
mean,
not, you're right. You say you got to get rid of Ibaka, but then you still have a flip side on that. Like, who the hell's taking Ibaka for that type of price tag? It's not. You can't just mix and match and move around and cut players in the NBA because there is a luxury tax on there over top of them. Now, if you could beat Toronto and say, look, I'll be damned, and we'll have a $400 million payroll. Let's add some guys, but that's not what they do in the NBA. I mean, Toronto has a very good fan base because Toronto likes basketball. Toronto likes hockey. It's a big city. It's got a lot of money in that city. They're going to probably sell out because it's one of the few games in town in Toronto that works, and it's NBA basketball. So, I mean, from an owner's perspective, Jeff, you're like, hey, I got you guys buying tickets. We're good over here.
by the way, Donnie Walter Trotter, if we're wondering where his response is, looks like he's driving. So we don't want to make sure
Mm,
we will make sure we don't want to affect his driving. Obviously,
yes.
um, you know, let us know when you get there, and we'll hear your points. But listen, Water, we love you. I'm just having a constructive debate with you. Don't think I'm calling you out. I just like to pick out comments and run with them. Toronto looked gutless. Yes, they did. I bet DeRozan, which he stayed in California instead of staying in Toronto. Yeah, I'm sure he'd rather be at, what would he do in there? I guess play for the Lakers. I mean, I don't know if that would be a better situation for him, best gambler, but
Yeah, I guess he could have
um,
chose and just chose to stay in Toronto at that point. But also brings up the next point, where USMC 28 says if the Raptors blow the team up, they will be in the lottery for years to come. I mean, that's
right,
what it is
right,
in the NBA. I mean, that's really like you're like in the NBA is one of the few like baseball. You see some lower market teams, creep up there, get in the playoffs, and have some fun. You see it like in the NFL, one team stinks one year, they can really rebound the next year because the NFL, if you stink, you get the number one pick. If you stink, you get the last place schedule. So they help you out the following year. In the NBA, if you get stuck on that treadmill, which the Sixers were on for a decade, just sneak into the playoffs, get no good draft picks, no good free agents, just sneak into the playoffs, just miss the playoffs. You're not adding any benefits. It's a shame in the NBA that unless you're a have team, like the Lakers can always reassemble a team out there. It seems like the Heat every once in a while you saw, assemble a team out there. Oklahoma City assembled a team. If you can't assemble a team, you're just on that treadmill to being nonsense out there, and you just literally have to tank as your only way to try to improve your franchise.
yeah, no, you're right. And listen, I've heard many different opinions on maybe they'll keep Dwayne Casey. I mean, what's the solution? Are you going to get anyone better? I mean, Dwayne Casey had a good season, but I mean, he has failed to deliver in the playoffs. And if we're talking about playoffs, we're talking about playoffs with Blake Griffin and everyone else. I, you know, maybe you have to get a new blood in there. Again, I still think they'll. I don't think it's going to change anything. Whether you bring him in or keep him there, I still think they're the same team. They have to go out and get the new players. That's going to fix this team, not whether Dwayne Casey's the coach. And listen, I would get sick of 7 years in a row you don't win anything. But it's more have to do with the players not winning anything. You need to get
Yeah.
people out that are going to and bring people in that are going to win. Donnie, final thing last night. We
Mhm.
I always like to revisit old things that I remember from when I was a kid. And Don, I saw something last night that made me go back to a couple years ago. And I've talked about many years of my love for the And One mixtape tour. I mean, obviously that was
Mhm.
you know kind of a little after your time. You were a bit older, but
Yep.
that was kind of for me when I was a kid, like one of my favorite things. And that's what really, that and Michael Jordan really got me into basketball. And then Allen Iverson came, and I remember I had the VHS tapes, Donnie, the tapes, the old tapes, the black tapes. We don't have them anymore. I haven't. Are they even exist anymore? I don't think they
The
exist.
black
The s-
tapes?
the,
What do you
the
mean?
square black, like the
VHS tapes?
VHS like tapes. They don't
Yeah.
make
I
them
mean,
anymore.
I guess you can buy them off eBay if you still have a VCR or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I used to watch shit on. Like, I would get the A1 mixtape, actual films, and put them in, and it was grainy, but it made me think last night, and yes, exactly. Escort, skip to my loo. But there was a guy, Donnie, if I saw last night, and I forgot about him for a year or two, but he resurfaced. There was this kid in Baltimore named Akil Carr, and I remember I went and watched him, like back in this was years ago, probably 6 years ago or so. This guy, Donnie. I mean, and you look back on people and say, like, whatever happened to them? Like, there's a lot of people, Darius Miles, whatever happened to him, or Dewan Wagner, This guy though, he was I don't know if you ever heard of this guy. He's 5'7". This guy was the most elite like player I've ever seen. Like he was so dominating down in high school in Baltimore. Like it was ridiculous. I saw him play one time. He dropped like 40 on another school. And you know what they called him, Donnie? His nickname was the Crime Stopper. You know why? In
Why?
his neighborhood, they had the crowds were so big that the place they played at couldn't handle it. So they went to Morgan State and played their games. They called him the crime star because he was so good that during his reign at this high school, the crime in East Baltimore went down. Like there was a drop in crime during the times his games were on. So they called him Crime Stopper. And it was just and this is a case of not having the right agents, not having the right leadership around you. Now he plays in Cyprus and he's had some off the court issues, but um, you know, it just you always see like and it kind of goes back to the whole like we're all getting older kind of thing. You look back on this kind of stuff, and I know you had your certain things that you had when you were younger. I mean, I just saw this last night late night, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw it, and just brought back memories to me of little things like this. But yeah, a lot of people remember the M1 mixtape tour. What a great Great thing. Yeah, that was going around, Reggie. Again, I don't know the particulars of that. He went to Seton Hall, then had a kid and stuff. He blamed it on having a kid, but yeah, I didn't hear about that. But either way, a story that I remembered. But Donnie, let's move on here to a little MLB recap. Then we'll get into some games today. MLB only 7 games last night, but it was blowout city in the
Mm.
MLB. There was a lot of blowouts last night. Everywhere you look, Phillies bats erupted. Zach Eflin, like you said, Donnie, must have been looking at what was going on across the street and said, "I'm going to get in on a winning night here in Philadelphia." Shut down the Giants. And for me, I like the Giants. This was a concern. Traveling, kind of that a no day off kind of thing, going right to another city. Zamarja was average, but not great. Phillies looked very good last night. Nice win for the Phils.
No, you're right about it. Yeah, maybe Zach Eflin got the baseball and was like, "Oh shit, Rodney Covington's not starting. Give me that baseball and let me dominate out here. I'm so excited." Now you never know what gets into these young kids' heads. But it was a nice, Odubel Herrera, a couple home runs last night. The bats came alive. Carlos Santana starting to heat up here a little bit. That's a nice win. Samar's not the greatest pitcher overall, but he did come in with some decent numbers. Didn't exactly know what you get out of Eflin, but nice win for the Phillies, who seem to play baseball, Jeff, very well at home in Citizens Bank. See if they can continue it in Game 2 of this series. But overall, Phillies bats coming alive. Bullpen look good. Starting pitching look good. Nice night for the city of Philadelphia.
Astros, what an easy win this was. And I want to go on my soapbox for a second, Donnie Rightside. Um, and I have to ask because like you saw this line at 1:30, right? Like it sat at 1:30 and it was like 1:30 the whole day. And I didn't quite, again, line movement's interesting. You never know with it. This line actually came back a little bit. I think it opened 150, if I'm correct, went down to 130-ish, closed 135. Okay, people were betting Brett Anderson, obviously, with that line movement, right? Why? Why are
I mean,
people
heck,
betting Brett Anderson?
no, I understand. I mean, obviously, the much better team is Houston there, but Anderson did come in with some good numbers. And Keiko, I've been
No, no,
fading a little bit there
no,
and
no,
picking
no,
up some money
Donnie.
on.
He did not have. He had one good start, and he's never in his career, throughout his long and storied career, he has never been good in the major leagues ever. He's been a complete mug his whole career. Always. Find me 2 good seasons as Brett Anderson's had. Find me 1, really. It might be 1,
No,
and it
yeah,
was like
no,
his
I mean,
first
yeah, he's a
something
journeyman. I
month.
mean, you're right on that end. Yeah,
I just didn't understand that, getting, after 1 start, I don't know, didn't see it. Asher's breakout last night. Nice win for them. George Springer, big night for him. I believe he had a cycle, if I'm correct. 6
6 for
hits.
6. I don't think he had this. I don't think he had a cycle, but I know he did go 6 for 6. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's because ESPN mentioned cycle and George Springer. I mean, why did they do
Did
that?
they?
I swear to God, last night I heard cycle, and he, it was the first, and they have 6 hits, and I
He
just
had,
figured he
yeah.
had
I
a
don't think
cycle.
he did. He had three. He had three singles and a home run, and I don't think he had a double and a triple. Did he? On top of it,
I guess not. But yes, Houston had a big win last night, and they get the job done. Houston struggles in Oakland. Oh, yeah, well, not last night. Uh, Homer Bailey's an automatic fade. Yes, he is. Uh, Big
that was
nights last
awesome.
night
That was.
for Springer, as we said. Ian Happ had a big
Mhm.
night, 2 home runs. Odubel Herrera continues to fire, and Agon, how about that? Old reliable, two home
Yep.
runs last night. Mets get out of the basement a little bit. Donnie with a big win against the Reds. Reds are bad, man, aren't they?
No, it was fun, and like I didn't even wait long to fire in this game. The kid that they brought up, Conlon, doing a little bit of research in AAA. I mean, if you're going to bring up there's a lot, not a ton of stats to look at, but if you're going to bring a kid up who's a lefty and he's a 6.75 ERA down in AAA, I don't really think he's going to come up and be the next reincarnation of Sandy Koufax, which he was, and he got lit up. But Homer Bailey at home versus left-handed batters, Jeff. I mean, you're going to Agon had 2 home runs last night. Conforto led off the game with a home run. Another lefty, Jay Bruce hit a long home run there. Even guys like Ahmad Rosario, who can't hit to save a lick, Jeff, were pounding Homer Bailey. That was a fun game last night. One of those ones very rarely where they give you the over 9.5 and it hits even before they get out of the fifth inning. That was a lot of fun, but sometimes the numbers just catch right at that moment. You're like, man, here comes a gift from the baseball heavens, and it worked out well.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Mets also, Donnie, a bit of a fraudulent move last night. I mean, so they report this PJ Conlon guys from Northern Ireland, which is cool. I mean, it was like, oh, cool, first Irish player in a while. He was born in Ireland, and then you read like his background, Donnie. He lived in Ireland for like a year, like, or like he moved to California. It's like
So
his
what? He
parents
didn't. He
met.
didn't play 18 years. He didn't play 18 years over
No,
there and just came over.
no, I thought he was like he actually like came over strictly to play
Yeah,
baseball. Like it was
exactly.
like this
Yeah.
amazing like thing where this guy, you know, he decided instead of playing soccer, he was going to play baseball, and he made the trek over from Belfast, and he's now in the major leagues. No, his mother is Scottish, his father's Irish. They met while attending Fresno State. Come on, man.
Sounds like sounds like a true story. Where like remember that one story where the baseball, I forget the organization, went over and paid like $1 million to the best player in India. The Pittsburgh Pirates did it, and they brought a couple guys over. This wasn't really that type of equation. There it wasn't really like he was grown up on some farm. It's like, oh my God, this kid can throw hard at 18. Have you ever played baseball, son? No, no.
Yeah, I was kind of worried. I hear him talk. He's like talking right. There's just no accent. He's like, like we're Ireland. There's nothing like that. It was
No.
just he sounded like I do. You know, kind of a fraud move there. Yeah, they moved from Belfast before he was even born. Come on, man. He's not from Belfast. He's from California.
They try to
What a
get that
weak. That
clicks,
was
man. They hit you with yeah, man. They want you to hit that click button, man. Say, read this
that
story
was
about
really
this
weak.
guy who
I heard that. I heard him talk last, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is this the right guy? He's not Irish. He's from California. I was really knocked off that. I wanted the kid to be from Ireland. I love Irish people.
Yep,
Um, Anything to sell. Yeah, exactly. I hit the like button.
exactly.
Thanks, Walter. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I hit the like button. People are talking about Adubel Herrera. What do you think of Adubel Herrera, Donnie? You like him?
It drives me nuts. With supreme talent, knocks two out of the ballpark, having an unbelievable season. But then he'll go in one of those games, Jeff, where if she's not paying attention and there's only one out, and he just runs out a fly ball from second to third, and he drives you mad. But he's so talented when his head is on straight that you can't keep him out of the lineup.
Philly.com put an article about him saying that he's one of the best outfitters in the league.
This year, yeah, again,
30.
yeah. I mean, he's putting up really good numbers. He's a numbers guy, but just a little bit maddening. Maybe they lit a fire. Maybe Gabe Kapler was smart on all of us, Jeff. Benched him opening day for some reason, and then he's just been tearing it up. Good for Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, he's reached base in 36 straight um, games. So yeah, I mean he's doing well.
Yeah, next one, the Rangers flag. And where we talk about that? No, not the state of Texas flag, not a nice Texas Rangers flag, not a New York Rangers flag. The flag we talked about yesterday, Jeff, as in the false flag. Rangers yesterday. No way, dude. We're going to fade Matt Moore all the way to this W.
No, no,
Sometimes
not
things
so
look a
fast.
little bit easier, Jeff, than what they actually
that's
appear on
that's the
paper. But
kind of
we wanted to bring that one up today. And again, I can't hate you for liking Detroit in that game. Every single number just about told you that they should have won that baseball game and had a lead. And there we go at the end of the night. Rangers come all the way back and win that ball game. And I was just like, damn, there was that flag we talked about with some things that don't make sense end up working in your favor.
No, I think you look at another game last night where I felt like for me, like I thought the Marlins, if you're going to maybe take a shot on a dog, maybe the Marlins. I mean, Jarlin Garcia had pitched very well. Obviously the Cubs off a long game. Maybe they come out and they're a little slow. Maybe a first five for the Marlins. Obviously that didn't work. Yeah, no, last night I think I was able to. I think you sniffed that out. I think we all sniffed that one out. There were people that were probably on Detroit. Um, yeah, no, Matt Moore somehow comes with it, and they won a wild one. He didn't really come with it, but they won a wild one. Donnie, let's get into some games today. What do you got?
Yeah, let's see what we got here. We'll flip that down there. The NBA tonight, Jeff. Why don't we take a look at some NBA action? Because there are two games. How competitive these two games are going to be tonight, I don't know. If we're taking a look at the line, Jeff, one sitting at Intertops at 12.5. One other one sitting at 11.5. We'll get right into it. 505, 506. Jeff, Utah Jazz going to go on the road to face the Houston Rockets. Not a lot of love. Does the series, need to go much, much further than this over under at 208, Jeff? Do the Jazz have a last stand in them on the road at Houston? I don't think so.
Yeah, I hate to do this, Donnie, and I usually want to try to give an opinion on both these, but there's not much I can really take in these two. There's just not a lot to like, really. Um, both big numbers. I've taken some shots lately with some of these. The other series with the over with the high totals, but they've struck out. Both series are tough. I think both will end tonight. Um, I hate to do this, but I don't have much on these two. I'm not going to drag
Jeff,
my
I
feet and
thought,
say,
look, I
yeah,
thought this was a capping show. You don't ever give
yeah,
out any
well,
plays. I can't find your plays
yeah,
anywhere. This is really disappointing.
yeah.
People come in here for every single game to be capped, and you are
Well, you give them
disappointing
a
them
pick then.
immensely.
You give them
We're
a
going to
pick
go
then.
tonight with a blowout winner, Houston. You know what, Jeff? Blowout winner, Houston Rockets. Money line tonight, 50 units.
Yes. Yes, many others do it. A shout out to you guys that do that. Shout out to you guys that actually charge for that information. I'm going to give out. Oh, dude, how about this one? This is the best one. I'm going to give out the Dodgers 240 on the money line, and
Mm,
they lose to the fucking Marlins. Nice call,
mm,
hack. Don't be doing
I
that
like it.
stuff. That's weak. Um, yeah, I these are two tough games, man. I mean, they really are. I will say this though, Donnie. This is a good piece of information if you're looking to lay the points with Houston. This year, as a home favorite at 12.5 or more points, Houston 2-11 against the spread. So,
Mm.
closeout game. Maybe you could make a case that Utah hang around here. But I just don't like them as much without Ricky Rubio. And then you look at the last 5 games, 97 points a game. Donovan Mitchell can't do it all. Some of these guys can't do it all. And you look in this series, last 2 games, 92, 87. Not enough. Defensively, they've not been as good. Maybe with those trend numbers, though, you maybe take a shot with Utah here, plus the points. Maybe they try to get close and salvage one more. But yeah, very tough games, both of these.
No, you're right. Second game there in the Norwich, the Pelicans 507, 508, showing right now inner tops at 11.5 over under. Another stealthy one, Jeff. Stealthy and healthy. 227. Sometimes in a closeout game environment to me, Jeff, You like to lean under because one team is really going to try to get focused defensively, especially at the end of the game if it is really close at that point. And if the game sort of gets away in a closeout game, Jeff, sometimes the other team just throws up that white flag and they just say, you know what, we don't want to get anybody hurt either for the next series. So let's just, run these 5 minutes off the clock and not do too much damage. 220. I mean, we've seen these numbers all series long, though, Jeff. 227. How about a total in this game? Do you look more in closeout games for overs, unders, pace of play? What do you look for?
I think generally you probably want to look for probably under because like you said, the other team's going to try to defend. But here's the problem. I mean, do you really ever trust New Orleans to defend? This is one of the worst defenses in the league. I mean, statistically, I think they're second worst in the league through the regular season. They were not good. Um, I think in this series, it's hard to want to bet unders, and I know unders have come in; they've been high, but it's hard to envision in this series. Golden State's going to do what they normally do. That shoot the ball well. New Orleans, they have to score. They're kind of at the level now where Golden State's going to score. It's kind of like if you're Barcelona and you're down 2-0 in a second leg, you have to go score. You can't just sit back and try to play good defense. You got to go and score too because the other team's going to score. I'm not really sure that I would trust New Orleans to get stops ever. But Donnie, I have to mention, and this is at this point, you look at the last couple games, the last two even. Um, in 10 Tuesday games this year against the spread, Golden State is 1-9 against the number. Last two, you look at on May 1st, they were 11-point favorites. They won by 5. The game before, April 24th, they were 11.5-point favorites against the Spurs, won by 8. Um, I mean, this whole little Tuesday thing, Donnie, it has come to fruition. Can the Pelicans just hang close a little bit? Gun to my head, I'll take both dogs.
All right, let's move it on to Major League Baseball. Got a couple games here that I'd like to hit on the mound tonight. Let's go back to Cincinnati. I mean, it looks like Jeff. I mean, Luis Castillo in the past. Forget about this year. Doesn't have very good numbers. Strikeout guy, hard thrower. If he gets himself in a jam, can strike guys out to get out of it. Hasn't been the case this year. And say what you want for Jason Vargas. Jeff, honest to God, if they gave you a baseball and a mitt and just threw you out there with the hat on backwards, could probably do the same amount of damage on the mound that Vargas does. If we look at this game, 73% of the tickets coming in backing Jason Vargas in this one, Jeff, opened up at -123, -133 in that range. Intertop now sitting at a -140 in the favor of Cincinnati. And it's not even so much because you're waiting. Like those snapback games do happen. Like you see, like Chris Archer on Sunday had a real good snapback game in Tampa. Castillo can have a snapback game. Jeff Vargas having a snapback game seems far-fetched right now.
Dottie, one of my great joys in sports betting and on Twitter is vilifying bad pitchers. Okay, I've done it for many
Mm,
years on my shows. I've had
the
segments
tomato
on
can.
certain,
Mhm.
yes, I've had segments on the worst 5 pitchers in baseball, blah, 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 blah. I've detailed short stretches of just horrendous pitching. Amir Garrett had one last year for the Reds. He had like a 4-game set where he was just dreadful. I'm not sure you can get worse than what we've seen from Jason Vargas over the first 2 games. Donnie, in the first 2 games, Jason Vargas, opponents are hitting 465 against him. Okay. He's given up 5 home runs. And in 8 1/3, he's allowed 15 earned runs with a whip of 3. He allows bases loaded every inning. I mean, how bad is that? I mean, it's amazing how bad Jason Vargas has been. And again, it was against the Padres and Braves. Braves are a decent team, but what was your excuse against the Padres? You look at the money. People don't believe in Jason Vargas. Reds are already gaining a little steam. I think you go right back to the over again, Donnie. I mean, is Jason Vargas going to flip a switch and be, Randy Johnson? I don't think. I mean, he's bad. I mean, Cincinnati has at least been able to score some runs. It's not like Luis Castillo's been good either. I mean, after he did have a nice outing against Milwaukee, but overall he's been pretty poor. 5 of his 7 starts have gone over the number. Both bullpens are having some trouble as well. I think you might just go right back to the well like you did last night on this game.
Yeah, it was the reason. Like you like Cincinnati in certain instances, Jeff, when you take a look at totals, because the ball seems to jump out of that ballpark, and both these teams do have some guys capable of putting some good swings together. But the double bonus that you have with the Reds is they're starting. We said it yesterday, Jeff. Starting pitchers stink, and you compound it by having a bullpen that doesn't get anybody out. And all you need is one of those innings where, like last night, Homer Bailey had like 70 pitches by the third inning. You were just, going like this, just, licking your chops, going, I can't wait to see how this game ends. And they easily went over the total early. It's setting
Yeah,
up to be another
this
one. I just want to look at Castillo in this matchup to get some numbers there on his K rates and stuff, because I even sent it to you yesterday, Jeff. Homer Bailey striking out like under 10% of his batters at home. That means that ball is going to be put in play all over the place.
yeah, I mean, this has the potential to be play of the day caliber. For me, I mean, Castillo not, he has had some decent strikeout games, but overall he's very hittable. I mean, i- you know, 312 opponents are hitting against him. Whips high as well, 1.7. Like he's putting people on base as well. You don't need a ton of runs here. Total's only 9. I might go to the well. Take it out of your book from last night.
Yeah, Isaac Hagen's checking early game Twins Cardinals. Do you think the Cardinals bounce back? Well, I thank you for even showing me that, because I wasn't even sure if there was a day game. If most people don't know our daily structure here on the right side of campus, we wake up and look at the card the same way you do the first minute you get up, get your coffee, get your monster out, and have some fun. Jeff, I didn't even know there's a 1 o'clock game, but I would
Yes.
say they probably will bounce back, right?
Well, I don't know if they will. I mean, the Twins are starting to play better. I mean, they've won 4 in a row. But listen, I'm not fading Carlos Martinez right now. This guy's been absolutely phenomenal. One of the best pitchers in baseball. You look at his numbers, Donnie, at home. 4 starts, 1.07, whip .98. Team's 4-0 in his 4 home starts. And he's going against Odorizzi, who struggled. The problem is, I've never been a guy that wants to lay a Cardinal run line, just because I don't have a ton of success, Isaac, betting on the Cardinals. That's just kind of a personal thing for me. Maybe a first 5 minus a half, you're neutralizing Martinez against Odorizzi. Um, this Cardinal team, though, again, I don't have a ton of luck with them personally. So for me, I'm going to stay away. Um, in my opinion, I don't want to bet against Martinez though. So for me, it's going to be a pass.
Yeah, you know what, Jeff? We only have a couple minutes left in the show, but I just want to bring out a good point on that. When you're talking about the St. Louis Cardinals at this point, don't factor out I mean, forget about the bat. The Yachty loss going on the DL. There's no
Yes,
guy in Major League
good point.
Baseball that calls a better game defensively, keeps everybody in line and in check, and he's no longer there. It's not a surprise that if their pitching goes a little bit south, you lose one of the best guys in the game, maybe Jeff, all time catching wise, calling a game defensively, leadership, bringing it there, knowing exactly what to do. He's no longer there. So that's a good one to keep in mind when you're
And
seeing these big numbers. Better pitchers. Yeah, go ahead.
for his long career, I mean, he has had some struggles at times late in his career hitting. He's had a pretty good season from the plate. This is an ugly injury, man. I mean, this is something you don't ever want to see. According to certain doctors, Molina should avoid sex for at least 6 weeks. His wife obviously not going to be happy about this. They've been married a long time. This is a tough thing. I mean, this is sad to see. You never want to see you get hit in the hind parts like that. Yeah, this is a tough injury. And
All
yeah, I
right.
think
Yeah.
that's a good point by you.
Now let's pick one more game to go out here, Jeff. Why don't we go 9:15, 9:16, Seattle and Toronto. Paxton, the lefty, is going to be on the strikeout machine, it seems like, for him. Either he's going to get you out, or maybe you can get to him a little bit, versus Stroman at home. Always that enigmatic pitcher, super talented, but sometimes, Jeff, you never know quite what you're going to get from him up in the Dome today. Do they have a little, is it a Toronto fan base, Jeff, that's excited to get back to baseball now that their basketball team and their hockey teams have been closed out for the summer? 8.5 across the board. Looks like Intertop's actually showing an 8 right now, and a minus 123. Seattle going on the road as a road favorite now, with the Josh Donaldson finally led Blue Jays here.
Yeah, I mean, again, Seattle been good on the road. They were good last year on the road. Been good this year on the road. Stroman's had trouble. I mean, he is not. I remember there were certain people on Twitter that said he was one of the great pitchers in baseball. Yeah, I don't see it, not anymore. Paxton coming off of a very good outing. He's had very good outings, 13 straight innings, just 2 earned runs. Yeah, I'd be all over the Mariners in this spot. Line going down a little bit, which is a concern, but yeah, they're home. They're not going to be shit for home crowd here. Paxton's been on fire lately, and I like this Mariner team on the road. Blue Jays, Stroman, yeah, I'll pass. Give me the Mariners.
Yep, and that'll be do it for today for our sportsbookreview.com show, the right side of campus. I was your host today, Donnie Rightside, big man on
Hey,
campus,
Donnie,
always joining, a lot of fun in there. Yes.
real quick. Dewey G, can we get you capping some quality WNBA? I actually put a future in on the Mercury, 9-1. I like Tarasi a lot. I think she's one of the best players in the league. I like what they have coming back. They made some nice changes for that group. A lot of good teams, Lynx, Sparks, but I like the Mercury. Maybe, yeah, during the summer, I'll definitely do that for sure. Sorry, Donnie, about killing your clothes, but go
No, go,
back
yeah,
to
go
what you're
ahead,
doing.
go ahead. Yep,
Sorry.
that's all I was going to say, Jeff. There's only one thing left to say. Thanks to the good people at InterTopSportsReview.com. We will be back live on the air tomorrow, Jeff, 10 a.m. Not for the right side of campus, but for the roundtable. Have a good day out there, fellas.